We have good news for Tesla stock. Troy's delivery estimate is now above the consensus. The consensus currently is at 421,500 vehicles, and Gary's estimate is at 424,000. About 10 days ago, Troy's estimate was at 418,000 deliveries, and now it has been increased to 427,000 deliveries. Troy also specifically says that he is aiming for less than 3% in terms of his error rate, which leaves potential upside for up to 440,000 deliveries. Or if it goes the other way, then we could see as low as 414,000. This is also good because Troy is saying that this time he's more confident because the quality of the data is better this time compared to the last quarter. Looking at the daily reporting countries, clearly we are having some beautiful records. This is data from Norway. As you can see, we are comfortably above the previous record. And generally, a record is expected in the US as well as in China. So the big question is Europe. It's also interesting to compare the sales data by the first quarter of each year. And if we just look at the previous year, yeah, we are so ahead in Norway at least. And when you look at other European countries, it is also just as ridiculous. It actually gets more ridiculous looking at Norway right here. This is just Q1. Everything else completely pales in comparison. The sales are so strong in Denmark that this quarter alone is already more than the whole previous year. Portugal is also crushing the records. Q1 is about double compared to Q4. Netherlands also extremely strong. And tomorrow we will find out if this success translates into the bigger countries in Europe as well. If it does, we are likely to see a huge beat, perhaps. We'll see. Troy, however, he remains conservative and says that all-time new records are expected worldwide in the US and in China, as well as in the rest of the world, but not in Europe. And these are Troy's projections for later, for example, Q2 deliveries, Q3 deliveries, and Q4 deliveries, and he's only expecting 2023 to finish at 1.77 million, so just a little bit under Tesla's 1.8 million target for deliveries of this year. Also, I should have probably mentioned, but I'm not doing any April Fool's jokes next year, maybe not this year though. So all the data that I'm sharing with you, yeah, it's actually real data, unless someone else is playing a prank. Tesla also posted the video of Cybertruck crash test. I mean, the Cybertruck is so strong that it defies physics. It doesn't crash. Obviously, that's an April Fool's joke, but I especially love how the people in the audience basically watching just go like this. There are some interesting comments. Just like the truck, it never arrives. Well, this year, it should be here. Gary Black says that he doesn't see production exceeding 450,000 for this quarter because he doesn't think there would be much of a point to increase the inventory by so much because Tesla can't keep saying that extra production is in transit at some point. It has to get delivered. However, just like Gary Black posted this right after that, I think it's better to measure Tesla's inventory in days of finished goods inventory. This number is a prediction. We don't know yet exactly, but last quarter it was 13. And I certainly agree with Gary that no one really wants 4 to 6 month customer wait times again. But Gary does have a point by saying that if the inventory level increases substantially, that will raise some concerns. In other words, a buying opportunity may appear. Gary specifically does not want the inventory to exceed a 25-day range. And now let's see what the mainstream media is saying about Q1 expectations for deliveries.
Tesla is expected to report its first quarter production and delivery numbers this weekend, and the report is usually a key driver for stock action. Josh Schaefer has been digging into what we've seen after past reports. What do you got for us?
Yeah, Shauna, so this is normally a moving day for Tesla. Normally the report comes over the weekend, as we're expecting it to come this weekend, and then it will move that following Monday.
Specifically, we are expecting Tesla to announce deliveries this Sunday at about 9 a.m. Pacific time. This is the history of all of the previous announcements. As you can see, the last few, most of them were at about 9 a.m., which is around noon Eastern time.
So the last time Tesla beat significantly was actually a little over a year ago, and that was Q4, or it was the Q4 deliveries that came in January 2022, and that was sort of the start of that run there. The stock jumped about 10% that day, and then you fast forward to April of that year, and that was right before the big drop here. This is Elon offering to buy Twitter, and that sort of started a big drop off for Tesla.
In other words, a buying opportunity which still continues today.
Sorry, they had a small beat right before that. It was that jump right there. And so the stock moved up slightly on that, but then of course we had the Twitter drama and we were a little bit downward for Tesla for a while there. And then you take a look at July. Over the summer, the stock had a very small movement then. That was because the report came out on July 1st or 2nd, and there wasn't any trading until July 5th. And it really wasn't that big of a difference as far as what Wall Street had been expecting to what actually happened with the numbers. Now, more recently, Tesla has fallen pretty significantly. So if you take a look here over the last year, you'll see Tesla had a big drop in October. That October drop, it dropped about 10% that day as Tesla missed on deliveries. And then most recently, in January, Tesla also had a big drop, fell about 12% intraday, also having a big drop that day because they missed by about 20 or 15,000 cars, I should say.
I think investors that purchase Tesla stock around here 10 years from now will look back and think, oh, that was a great deal. But if you bought even lower around here, when Tesla missed on deliveries, that's an even better deal, and you already saw a doubling. Whatever Tesla announces, there is a good chance that Tesla stock will move quite a bit, unless the results come in roughly within the expectations.
You take a look too at Tesla year to date, we should note, has been on quite a wild ride, up about 70%.
But we also know that on Friday, Tesla stock jumped a lot and is now up 92% almost year to date.
So it's been positive for the stock so far this year. This will be one of the key catalysts to see what happened with those price cuts, right? We had all the price cuts this quarter. Did more people buy? Did they sort of meet what was expected to be increased demand because of the price cuts?
Yes, certainly. Very significant implications for the stock, especially given that massive rally that we've seen. If we do see a miss, we could be looking at losses on Monday, right?
No. Not losses. Buying opportunities. And remember that rumor that I told you about? Elon Musk going to China potentially very soon? I mentioned it multiple times in the last week or so, and turns out it may be actually happening. Let's take a look.
Let's start with Elon Musk. Whoa, why not? He's planning a trip to China next month, and he wants to meet with Xi Jinping. Susan, what's the implications?
Well, unlikely he'll get that meeting with Xi Jinping. I think it's been reported that he's been looking for a meeting with the second in command, so Premier Li Qiang instead. Now, if Musk does go, it would be the first time he's met with top Chinese leadership since Xi started his third unprecedented term. Now, we know China is one of the main drivers of Tesla stock, which, by the way, has surged 500% plus since the COVID bottoms 3 years ago in 2020.
I certainly don't think it's the last surge of Tesla stock. I believe we will see more of these surges in the future.
He needs to go there to make friends. Also, Shanghai is now the largest production plant for Elon Musk's electric car company. If Musk does head over to China, it would be the first time he's been inside the country in 3 years. And this past week, you've seen a lot of big Fortune 500 CEOs in town. Apple's CEO Tim Cook, Pfizer's Albert Bourla. Also, China's economic numbers last night were huge. Did you see that spike
I didn't see it.
in recovery? So the gauge of services growth, and that is the majority now of the Chinese economy, no longer manufacturing. It surged the most in 11 years, up the most since 2012.
That could possibly mean there's going to be a lot more demand for Tesla vehicles in China, which means less exports would be needed to other places like Europe. And also Europe is ramping the Giga Berlin factory, so more sales dedicated from Giga Shanghai to the Chinese market would be better.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's why everyone's going there, is that you need that recovery play, and we know Shanghai is important, I would say vital to Tesla.
I certainly wouldn't say vital, important, yes, especially for now, but later, I don't think it's going to be as important. Of course, it will remain significant, but there are more cars sold outside of China than within China. And if you just combine United States and Europe together, that is more than China. Also, vehicles in the US and Europe, usually they are sold for more money. So other markets, they have more revenue also.
American executives, they've got to shore up their relationship with what they do in China. They've got to shore it up.
That's right. It's all about
it.
face in relationships. Also, by the way, for Tesla here in the U.S. this morning, you had the Treasury possibly confirming that they're going to narrow the cars available for that $7,500 tax credit, which might hurt the Tesla Model 3, which might not be eligible because you have to make a certain amount of the car, a majority of it, here in the U.S.
However, with the news that are happening currently, there is a chance that Tesla may not even lose that $7,500 credit for a Model 3. It's not certain. It's certainly unclear, but that possibility remains. I'll talk more about that in the next video. It's not clear that Tesla will indeed lose that tax credit for a Model 3. Tesla may, but we don't know, and there is a good chance it may not. We'll talk more about that later. And this is the Tesla stock buying opportunity explained by Elon Musk. My name is Matt Posius. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.